Good morning, Class 5. For today we're going to look at vocabulary and you're going to write a short setting description based on the setting from the video that you watched yesterday. I am going to apologise in advance if I sneeze. My hay fever is really bad today, so if I do sneeze, just ignore me. So vocabulary, going to do word association based on the image that you can see on the screen, and you should have this in your pack as well. So I want you to pause the video for about a minute and just think of any words or phrases. Try and build up some phrases when you're doing this as well today that can describe the image that you can see on the board. Once you've done that for about a minute, unpause the video and then we'll have a look at some together. Okay, so a few that I came up with. Vibrant cerise orchids as bright as light bulbs here. Okay, and you can see that I've used a simile there, and that'll help me with my writing later. Gently flowing crystal clear river. Okay, because that's what I can see here. Now you need to then think of other things that you could describe. So you could say about the moss that's on the rocks. It looks like there's moss on there. You could talk about the trees in the distance. What do you think you could hear when you were there? Probably birds chirping. Okay. So one thing that you do need to think about with this one today is that there's a lot of things that are green. So I don't just want the green trees, the green flowers, the green moss. So use some different shades of green. Now this isn't that clear, but if you used Google you would find one that's clear. But when you are using any of these words, you need to make sure that you use a hyphen. So for example, if I was writing emerald green, because it's one adjective, you're not saying it's emerald and it's green, it's emerald green or it's jade green. Okay, so if you can find other words to describe different green colours that you could use, forest green would be a good one for what you're doing, maybe the hunter green as well. So if you have a look online, or you can use the ones that are on this video, that's absolutely fine. Okay, your next task is to develop some more words or phrases using your 5 senses, and this is going to really help you for your setting description. So you can use the ones that you looked at before. So my vibrant cerise orchids could go in sight. Let's make that smaller. So that could go in my sight there. My gently flowing river could go in here. So gently flowing river crashing against the rocks. Because even if it's flowing gently, it'll still hit the rocks. Okay, what else might you hear? Think about what you can't see on the image. Imagine you're stood there. What can you hear around you? I'll definitely be thinking you could maybe hear some sort of birds. It's in a rainforest. So what other sounds might you hear? You might hear echoes because of how close the trees are. So birds. You might hear birds chirping. You might hear echoes of, I don't know, what other animal could you have? You might hear echoes of a tiger roaring, reverberating through your ear. Actually, we'll change that because reverberating means the same as echo. So a tiger's roar reverberating through your ears. So remember, for this as well, you can use the thesaurus online that we've used many times in school. That's where I've got some of my phrases from. Taste is always a hard one, okay, but just imagine what you might taste. Not literally pick something up and taste it, but what might you be able to taste there? Think about, you might get some like little crickets in there as well in the rainforest. What might you touch? Now for this one, don't just think what you can touch with your hand. Think like as you're walking through, what can you feel? Maybe you could touch branches snapping under your feet. Okay, that could go in touch. You should spend about 10 to 15 minutes doing this today. Build up that vocabulary. The more you've got, the easier your writing will be as well, guys. Okay, so once you've done that, you can use some of my phrases as well, like we always do in class. We share our ideas, and I know some of you have been using Zoom together, so that would be this is a really good lesson that you could do together. And then you are ready to write your setting description based on the image that you had. So I've started mine using some of my phrases. Now what you don't want to do is start talking in second person as if it's a character, as you are walking. Okay, so flowing in the middle of the rainforest is a narrow crystal clear river. I could expand on that. That is, you could put that is refreshing. So I've got my relative pronoun in there as well. Vibrant cerise orchids hang proudly as they sway in the gentle breeze. So then you could start talking about, so if we go back to our examples here, what have we got? Branches snapping under your feet. So we could start that with the crunch and snap of the branches reverberate, so we'll use the phrase from the other one, reverberates through anyone's ears. So the crunch and the snap of the branches below people's feet reverberates through anyone's ears. So I will then carry on my description. I might start talking about the trees that I can see. Definitely one that you could do here with the birds chirping. What else could you hear in the distance? You could even imagine that you've walked along the river and what can you see behind this big flower sort of plant thing here. Okay, I know that you're a really good class for writing using lots of description as well, so make sure you use those ideas. Use mine if you need them, and also use the thesaurus online, and I would love to see some of you writing, guys.